Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Corey Lamar. What's up, King?
So, man, how you feel, Willie?
Oh man, I'm feeling a little better, man, and I'm feeling a little better than I did before I got here, man. You know, it was a long flight for me. I know you had an easy flight, but my flight, I had a little turbulence.
Okay.
Yeah. You fly a lot?
I've slowed down. You know what I used to, yeah. I'm freaking with flying, yeah.
Do that turbulence ever bother you?
Yeah, very concerning. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. We had a little bit today, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like some flights I've been on. Yeah. So I know what that turbulence is, man. Yeah, very concerning.
Yeah, man. Once you get up there and that turbulence, ain't nothing you can do. Once them doors shut, you take off. You can't do nothing but pray.
That's right. That's all.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. No doubt.
Man, how are you getting along, man? You know, in the wake of Quan.
To be honest, man, well, it's still difficult.
Yeah.
Still seems surreal, man.
Yeah.
September the 5th was 1 year
Mm-hmm.
that I actually lost my son. I'm still in denial. Still seems surreal, man. I'm 55 years old. I just raised my hand to get me some help, man. I see a therapist, man.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the darkest moments in my life, man. Not only my son, but my best friend. Not only my best friend, but my business partner, man. You know, talk to this kid 9, 10 times a day, man. You know, the day before he transitioned, man, I looked at my phone. We was on the phone 11 times, man. Managed him, advised him. You know what I'm saying? Like very day to day with my son, man.
Yeah, that's what I was. Once I didn't really understand the nature of the relationship and how close you guys were, but yeah, man, you've been more than a father, man. You've been, a protector. You've been a manager.
Yeah.
You've seen, both sides, of the game. You've seen the streets. You've seen the spotlight.
Yeah.
How has that been? Like once when you found out that Rich Homie Quan was dead, your son was dead. What's the initial reaction and how did you find out?
So what happened, I got a call from his son's mom and I missed the call. When I read the text message, she said that Quan was non-responsive. I needed to get to the house. So I redirected myself to go to his home. When I got to his home, they were bringing him out on the stretcher. So when they was bringing him out on the stretcher, I asked, could I ride with him? They said, no, you can't ride. So I went in the house and started praying, man. Just praying. And a buddy of mine called me and asked me where was I at. I said, what's up? He said, you need to get to the city. I said, I'm already here. I'm at Quan's house. And he held the phone. I said, you got something you need to tell me. And it dawned on me that his kid's mom worked with EMS. I remember, meeting her earlier. And he was holding the phone and I said, Trent, tell me, what is it? He said, man, I just got off the phone with such and such. And he held the phone. I said, Trent, come on with it. He said, man, Quan didn't make it. And I was devastated. But I was still holding out hope, waiting on the call from the hospital. And as I was sitting there, I got a call. And one of my family members said, the doctor in there to talk to us. I said, put him on speakerphone. And I heard her say that Mr. Lamar came in with a very weak pulse, heartbeat. And I heard her say, we did everything we could to revive him. But unfortunately, he didn't make it. And that's when the what if kicked in, I was thinking about like, what if, But
What if you had been there?
just like, what if Quan passed, man? Thinking about what if he passed. Oh, how many lives would be affected? I used to tell my son all the time, the decisions you make don't only affect you, son. Quan got 5 kids, man. 4 baby mamas. Mama, daddy, brother, sister, a host of friends. One of the reasons why I take podcast interviews now is to bring awareness, man, of like mental illness and mental depression amongst our community, man. My son was in a very dark place, man. Money, clothes, jewelry had nothing to do with his mental at that time.
Can you expound on that, man? Because there are people watching us right now, and they're listening to the words that's coming out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And in their mind, money is the end all be all. Money is going to fix everything in their life. And when they hear people who have money or who've had money say things like money ain't everything and money don't buy happiness, and you can have money and still be in a dark place and still feel lonely. Expound on that. Like, make people understand as much as you can that money ain't the end all be all.
No, a lot of times money is the beginning of a lot of bad things.
Mm.
You have to realize, man, like the majority of the entertainers, actors, people that we look up to, a lot of times, bro, they're responsible for a lot of people's livelihood. And a lot of times those people who depend upon them are not honest with them. Because I don't want to cut my paycheck off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, you have to realize, like, one of them rap songs say, more money, more problems. Since my son transitioned, I probably experienced a pinch of what he went through every day, all day. People pulling on you here, people pulling on you there. I need this, I need that. And like my entertainment attorney said, he said it best. These entertainers become commodities, man. And I've been raised when you laugh, the world laugh with you. But when you cry alone, man. And I used to talk to my son, and I got text messages in my phone where I used to say, hey, man, whatever you're going through, your answer is not in a pill bottle, a liquor bottle, or a lean bottle. You follow me? When I lost my son, man, before I lost him, Willie, I could go buy me a 4-pack of wine coolers, right? I would drink 1 or 2, and them other 2 would sit in the refrigerator, man, 4 or 5 months. When I found myself making mixed drinks twice a day. But I had to gather myself and say, hey, the same information you gave your son, it's the same information that applies to you as well. Your answer not in a bottle. But to those out there who think money is the answer, it's a lot come with it. You can attest to that. And the sad part about it, man, in our community, we've been raised and trained like, man, don't cry. You deal with it. You tough it up. You suck it up and you keep moving. At 55 years old, when I raised my hand for therapy, it started out as grief therapy, okay? And I ended up going into my childhood traumas. I've been carrying so much stuff so many years, man. Because I thought if you cry, you weep. But as I got older, man, I understand crying is a sign of pain, man. You don't necessarily have to be weak because you shed a tear. Well, I shed a tear damn near every day thinking about my son. Does that make me weak? No, not at all. But I'm telling you, man, the message, man, that we have to get out, it's okay to get you some help, man. If your check engine light come on in your car, you take it to the shop. If you stump your toe, you go to the doctor. So if this not right, go get some help, man. I had to get some help, man. I was about to spiral out of control, man. And I'm the matriarch of my family. They depend on me. And imagine, man, waking up 6 o'clock in the morning and you look over at the clock and it's 12:13 and you ain't left out the bedroom, man. I'm trying to figure it out. But I got grandkids. I got other people. Still got a business to run. I have an estate. I got a label. I still got music to put out. And at the same time, I'm still in the process of grieving, man. This kid was my everything, bro. This was my man. We talked, we communicated. He didn't do anything business-wise without communicating with me, man. And you wake up one day and he gone, 35 years old. But the message I got out of it was, live your life, man. Tomorrow's not promised. See, I'm one of them, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But got a whole new outlook on life now. This chapter in my life is for me now, man.
Let me jump in right quick.
Mhm.
Earlier you said, I know you meant patriarch, you said
Mhm.
matriarch, but being the patriarch of the family,
Mhm.
and everybody's looking for you, looking
Mhm.
at you for the answers.
Mhm.
When Quan was going through what he was going through, did you know at all, did you sense any depression at all?
Depression, I wouldn't say I sensed depression. I just knew he wasn't happy.
Did you ever figure out what the source of that was?
The source, man, it was like Quan, like the average man, he want his cake and eat it too, you know? And was in situations that he wasn't, they just wasn't happy, man. You follow me? But a lot of times we, as men, we sacrifice our happiness to make others happy, man. And that's what
That's
and
true.
that's what he did.
That's true.
He sacrificed his happiness to make somebody else happy, man. And I had a conversation with him one day, and I said, I want to ask you a question. I want you to be honest with me. Have the way I live my life affected your life or help you make decisions in your life? And he said, Dad, if I have to be honest, yes. He said a kid's first hero is his dad. Meaning that kids do what they see, man. He saw me in relationships with it that I should have left, man. You follow me? But I didn't. Think about it from time to time, like, damn, if I'd have got out of that and Quan would have seen how my life was, maybe he would have did the same thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He had multiple kids. He loved women, bro. You feel me? Young, money, good looking, so you know how it go, man. You follow me? I'm not here to bash anybody, but he just wasn't in a space that he wanted to be in, man. And when I grew up and I ran into adversities and trials and tribulations, see, my grandparents taught me to get on my knees and pray. This new generation, man, they got all kind of vices they turn to. Whether it's the pills, whether it's the drink, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, the other drugs. You follow me? Thinking that that's the answer, man, and it's not. That's why, man, like as a community, man, we got to get help, man. We got to educate them, man. It's okay to raise your hand and say I need some help, man.
Did he ever see? Did he ever see you going through something and witness how you dealt with it in a healthy way?
If I would say, if I answer that truthfully, no, because the way I dealt with it wasn't healthy. I stayed. It's not healthy, but it's like when you, as men, you have a tendency to put so many people in front of you. And what happens is when you do that, man, it becomes life, you know? It becomes your norm. And that was my norm, like, okay, this ain't the situation for me, but what I'm gonna do about it? I ignored it as a man, just being honest with you.
Well, one might say that if you're having multiple babies with multiple women, that ain't really necessarily putting people before you. That's putting yourself. Most people would think that that's selfish.
No, I'm speaking in terms of like when it comes to you and what you want. At the end of the day, a man can go out here and do whatever he chooses and whatever he can afford. That's his choice. But in the process, you can't mislead people on. You understand? Just be honest. Just be transparent. Everybody not built for relationships. You follow me? And you know, if you young, man, you got some money, you having your way, you traveling the world, it's kind of hard to be focused on one person, man. I mean, you an entertainer, you know how it goes, you know what I'm saying? So when I say like, I don't mean like in a way where you're selfish for yourself. I mean, it's just like to a certain degree, you be selfish when it comes to what you really want or how you really want to leave or how you're going to be perceived. You follow me? Like you'll be perceived, oh, he left her for her. But at the end of the day, you got to do what make sense for you. And a lot of times we as men don't do that because we're focused on what somebody gonna say, how they gonna feel. And at the end of the day, man, you don't get but one shot at this. And I'm not saying going out here and being with multiple women is a beautiful thing to do. But I'm saying, you know, don't mislead nobody in the process of you trying to figure out what you want to do, man. I've seen my son happy, man. I've seen him happy as a 90-degree day out here in Vegas. Then I've seen him sad as a 50 or 40-degree day in Atlanta, man. You feel me? I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, had him in counseling. He just wouldn't continue. You know, start, stop, you know, sent to somebody that was a total stranger to him, you know, hoping he could confide in them and, you know, get better. But there was no consistency there.
How much of his unhappiness affected your business? Because you said y'all were business partners. So I'm imagining that if he's unhappy, he can't be making the best decisions. And I'm sure that has to spill over into your business relationship.
Yeah, it was more so not so much as making the decisions because he entrusted me to make the decisions, but it was more so the participation that was needed from him, man.
Okay.
You follow me? That affected certain business ventures, whether it was music, whether it was real estate, whatever we were dabbing into. You know what I'm saying? There were times where, like, you know, if he was in a good space, it was no problem. But then when he was in them dark spaces, it put more on me behind the scenes to still keep it going. Like I said, man, like I'm not here to deny anything. My son was depressed, man. My son was dealing with mental illness, man. You know what I'm saying? And thought devices were the answer, man. You follow me?
Do you think that because he had to put in so much work, the company is riding on his name, you know, his brand. Do you think that sometimes that he resented you, or not just other people, but you also, because if he don't move, it don't happen. You know, the things don't really work out like they need to work out, and perhaps, you know, maybe he's thinking that, and I'm saying this, I'm actually saying this from experience, you know, where you think that because these people that you're working with, family or not, they need you in order for them to take care of their business and pay their bills. So do you think that there may have been any resentment at any point?
For me, no, because I've always had my own. I could have for 26 years before I even thought about managing Quan.
Which is some damn good money. Man, I didn't know dudes could make the kind of money that they make until I met my barber, you know, from back in the day. You know, this guy named Harvey. Man, Harvey wore the best skin boots, drove the nicest cars, had a new car every 2 years, the best, nicest stuff. Dressed to the nines, lived in a big old house, and didn't sell one rock. I mean, this dude was cutting hair.
Yeah, listen, I was the same way.
Yeah.
26 years. The barbershop was opened in 1968. My grandfather opened it. I was there from 88 to 2014. So like I said, I not only did I make money, my granddaddy taught me how to save my money. Quan nor myself blew money either, okay? We respected a dollar. So it wasn't a point where Quan had to feel like so many people depended upon him. It was more so, Willie, I'll be honest and tell you, man, like me and the team that was around him, we loved him so much. We helped create him too, man. He was spoiled, man. Like you realize as an artist and you're not messing up the money, okay? You got your publishing coming in. You doing your shows, like 5, 6 shows a month. You ain't got no house, you ain't got no car, all you got is utility and taxes. He never oversported himself. He never went out here and got no $30,000 a month house note. Never had no $5,000, $6,000 a month car notes. So guess what? When he wake up and look at his bank account and he say, man, I got M's. I got publishing checks coming in every quarterly. You feel me? And for a sensible person with no bills, it's easy to say, like he move when he want to, man.
Mm.
And I told Monte and Dre, like, we helped create this, man. We were really a crutch. All Quan had to do, man, was perform. We took everything else. Everything. Quan didn't pay no bills. I had everything on automated draft. Everything was like on autopilot for that kid, man. Everything. And he would say sometimes like, Pop, y'all don't know what I go through. And to a certain degree, I didn't know. Because you gotta understand, I'm a dad. I've been there since day one up until his last day. So certain things you think about coming up, and I think about reverting back when I was coming up, certain things you're not gonna let your parents know, man. You follow me? Certain things I didn't know that was going on. I found out a lot of stuff after the fact. For real.
Man, I cannot help but think about how much you and Quan look alike. I'm looking at you and I feel like I'm talking to Quan, an older Quan. Like it's crazy. Do you ever look in the mirror? Like I know it's in your brain, but do you look in the mirror sometime and see your face and say, "What's up, Quan?" You know what I'm saying? Like but you look like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy how
much we resemble.
similar you guys look.
Yeah. It's like I think about that kid so much, man. And when I think about him, you know what I think about more than anything? The smile he had, man. He hasn't came to see me since he transitioned, but I have had one night where I woke up and I looked up and he was just looking down on me smiling. I was doing a podcast with Big Bank and one of the guys asked me, if you had anything you could say to Quan, if you met him one more time, what would you say? I said Quan was a very emotional kid, man. He was easy. He was soft. Willie, he wasn't raised on survival. He was raised on love, okay? Quan wasn't about that life, man. And I'm grateful that he wasn't. Quan was real emotional. And I told him, I said, I would tell him I forgive you, son. Because I know the relationship we have or had. And I know he feels bad. I know he probably feel like he let us down by transitioning the way he transitioned. And sometimes, man, when I sit around and I think about all that's before me, I said, damn, Quan, you left all this on me, man. And I know the relationship we had, the conversations we had, like we were emotional when it came to each other. Wasn't nothing for us to shed a tear. I love the ground that kid walked on, man.
Mm.
I buried my grandmother and my grandfather. They raised me. Those are probably the most important people in my life. 18 months before Quan passed, I lost my baby brother. I raised him just like my son. So to lose something that's a part of you, it's a hurt, man, that's unbearable, man. Mine is a little different because I'm constantly reminded of my son. I took a break off social media, man. People genuinely love that kid. People DMing me, sending condolences. Hey, I'm thinking about you. What can I do for you? And I'm appreciative of it, but a lot of times it hurt, man. It hurts to see good-looking kids. So much life, so you thought. And to think that one day he'd be burying me. And for them roles to flip. The silver lining in all of this is by the people I've lost in losing my son. I look at it like a woman, a person, a human. If I break up with whoever today, I know I can go on, man. Whatever adversities I face, I know that that same God that's allowed me to sit here now after the loss of my son, who's still with me, I feel like I can face anything, bro. The man and woman that raised me gone, my son, my brother, it really just, it builds endurance, man. It builds strength, you know. You don't know how much strength you got until you're at your weakest moment, man. When I lost my son, bro, I felt like I had been broken into a million pieces, man.
You seem to be a man of strong faith. Did you ever question God?
To a certain degree, yeah. But then God said, who are you to question me? And I was reminded the reason I'm here, the reason you're here today, is because God gave his only begotten son so that we could be here. So at the end, you know how I look at it? Now I know how God feel. Now I know how God feel. Think about it. Son's no longer here. And it's eye-opener, man, that a lot of stuff you take for granted, you shouldn't. I'm pretty sure Quan had plans, but God had a different plan. And when I went to the hospital to see him, I will say this. And they opened the blinds to let me see him. They wouldn't let me touch him because at that time, they didn't know if he had been killed or whatever, right? And I looked at him, and he had a peace on his face I hadn't seen in a while. He had a peace, man, a peace that I hadn't seen in a while. And I said to my family that was in the room, I said, it's a message in this for everybody. And the beautiful thing about it, everybody's message is different. My message was, Dad, enjoy your life, man. And dealing with what I'm dealing with the loss of him, Willie, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to enjoy my life, man. It's hard, bro. It's very hard, man.
Do you think that, how many more kids do you have?
I got 2 more, so I got a boy and a girl now.
Yeah. Do you think that perhaps you put too much into your children to whereas like you was like, my life is my children, like, because that's how some people are. You know, they forego their own dreams and aspirations or whatever. And not just that, but they even forego just daily activities and hobbies and invest everything into their child.
Yeah.
And then when that child, let's say, transition or perhaps just leave the house, they leave the nest, and they end up being lonely and depressed and they realize they have no social life because they invested everything
into their
kid.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself in that space?
It goes back to childhood, okay? But I can tell you a story that made me to be the man that I am, okay? I remember I was 7 years old. My grandma told me my real dad was coming to pick me up, okay? And I remember looking out that window for 3, 4 hours and he never came. And my grandma said, baby, he ain't coming. I remember going in that bathroom in the hall, tears running down my face. Looking in the mirror, saying to myself and to God, 7 years old, I said, God, if I ever have kids, one question my kid or kids will never have, and that's what my dad is. Because I had that question at 7 years old at night. So when I had Quan, him being my firstborn, and I held him, my life changed, man. I knew that I had somebody that depended on me. And I knew how my biological daddy wasn't there for me. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm very guilty of that, man. I'm guilty because it had to stop somewhere in our family, man, with the absent dads. And I made it stop with me, man. I love them kids so hard because my dad didn't give me that love. You follow me?
Right.
So, you like sometimes when you see people abuse kids, come to find out they were an abused child. So if you know the pain that was inflicted upon you, why would you inflict it upon another person?
Mm-hmm.
So I took the hurt that was instilled in me and turned it into love. I was there. I remember one time I had to call Quan and my baby boy. He's 26. Now we had to have a man talk. And I said, when I call y'all and I text y'all to check on you just to see where you at, how you doing, is you okay? I said, don't take it the wrong way. And I had to explain to them that 7-year-old incident. And both of them was like, Pop, we understand now, man. You feel me? My grandma and granddaddy gave me everything one nail down. But I still want to know where's my dad at, man. And all my kids, man, I'm clingy like that, bro, because of my childhood traumas. That's why it's important to learn a person, man. I tell my baby boy, learn a person before you lust a person, man. You meet a woman, learn her childhood, man. Learn how she came up. So a lot of times when people be like, oh, Corey mean, he this, he that, his childhood traumas I carried for years and I didn't get help and learn how to put them down until now, man. At a point in my life now, man, where if it disturbed my peace, I'm not going to be around it, man. I'm not rah-rah. I'm not arguing with nobody. Hey, man, you got that. When it comes to my kids, I'm guilty of that, man. And guess what? I don't come too far to stop, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
We giving you a pass on that one, bro. You got me on that one. Like that right there. If there's an exception to the rule, that's it. I mean, like you're absolutely right, and I absolutely can relate to that because I was the same way. I saw men, not just men in my life, but just men, period, who stood their children up. And I always said to myself, that won't be me.
That's right.
That won't be me. I saw men who abused their children. My daddy didn't abuse me, but I was like, that won't be me.
That's right.
You know, and so to all you dudes out there that stand children up, I can't stand you. Why I hate you.
That's right.
Ooh, I don't like y'all, for real. Because they don't understand how they pass down, how that childhood trauma affects people's lives. I mean, to the day they die many times. You know, and people grow at different rates, so they deal with it in different manners. Some of us we're functioning adults, and we think we're okay, but we're dealing with trauma that we have not addressed. And this is why I admire what you're doing, getting the word out about mental health, especially men's mental health, because we have had to shoulder the burden, and many of us have stepped up and said, "Give it to me." Give it to me, bring it on. But man, sometimes it does get overwhelming.
Well, yeah, that burden get heavy, man.
That burden gets heavy.
And that's one of the reasons why, like, I was very reluctant to see a therapist, man. I remember one of my partners like, bro, you see a therapist, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I said, tell the world. If I can help somebody, man, because it's helping me, bro. It's my place to dump. Can't keep carrying all this, man. Well, you know how many good people I messed up along this journey called life because of my traumas, man? Innocent people didn't have nothing to do with this, but I had to be man enough to go back and apologize to these people. Hey, I was wrong, man. Forgive me. You follow me? That's the first step, man. You got to acknowledge it's a problem, man. A lot of us are in denial, man, because guess what? A lot of us grow up off survival and not love. It's different, man, when you got to survive.
Man,
it's a big difference, man.
Hey, man, I don't go to church, but I'm ready to put some in the collection plate now.
Listen, man.
Man, you preach it, man.
Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something, man. And that's what I told, like, I used to, like, sometimes I sit and I think, man, and this industry is so corrupt, man. And they have you thinking you got to be hard, you got to be tough, you got to be tatted up. I used to look at Quan sometime and be like, that ain't him, bruh. But society don't accept the good guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people want to portray themselves to be something that they're not. And at my age now, and 10 years early in my age, I realized, man, real niggas ain't trying to be in the streets. They trying to get out the streets, man. The streets ain't nothing. But when I was coming up, the streets was glorified. You know, you probably got some guys in your hood who was on the block who you thought had it going on. I got some in my hood who I thought had it going on. I remember when I used to cut hair, I used to cut hair, get my little chips and go home, man. They were going to Freaknik. They were going to Lake Lanier. They were going to spring break in Miami. I mean, I couldn't do that. I couldn't afford it. I had to take my chips and put them up, man. But guess what? A lot of them same cats look at me and say, bro, you got it right. We didn't. But it's what's glorified, man. And you got to realize this day and age we live in now, man, that social media done tore our community up, man. I told one of my partners about a month ago, I said, everybody only popping on social media, ain't it, man? Ain't nobody hurting, ain't nobody struggling. You follow me? Everything glorified.
Right.
But when you put the phone down and cut it off, that's your reality, man.
You know how you know that it's a fallacy? You know it because when you go into the comments, everybody angry.
Believe it.
So if you're doing so well, if everybody's doing so well, when you're doing well in life, you don't have time for the negativity because you're getting so much of it. People are hating anyway. So, you know, people that's got something going on, they're not spending their time in the comments going back and forth with people.
That's right.
Spewing negativity.
That's right.
It's the people who ain't got nothing going on that's sitting around hating, mean mugging. So yeah, I absolutely understand what you're talking about with that social media. And people don't understand. I had to pull back on it because I realized one day, man, I said, you know what? Some of these people are on medication.
Right on.
And others need to be on medication.
That's right.
What the hell am I getting upset for about somebody who needs to be on medication or who is already on medication?
Man, listen, it got so bad for me. Now I'm waking up in the morning, man. I'm picking that phone up, man. In the middle of the night, wake up, picking that phone up, man. On social media. And it done. I'm like, hey, man, you giving too much of your time to this. So I logged out, man. When I want to reach for the phone, I start reaching for a book, man. Start reading, knowledging myself, man. You follow what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when you look at life, man, and how things are, man, if we don't come to grips with reality, man, we're going to be a lost culture, man. Thinking that, like you said, our culture is provocated around a small piece of paper that carry a lot of weight, and that's $1. I remember Bin Laden, dead and gone. You remember him, Osama? He said, man, you'll be able to do whatever you want to do in America. They say, why? I say, because they love money. He said, you can get in whatever, and they going to give you whatever for the love of $1. And that's been rooted in us, man. And at the end of the day, you can have the money, you can have the fame, you can have the glory. But if this not right, it's in vain. I'd rather have a little bit and a peace of mind than a room full and not mentally stable, man. Because the Bible says a fool and his money will soon depart. And one of my buddies said, best money got to have a manager, man. If you got the money but ain't man, how many people you know had it and ain't got it now? That's one of them cliches. When you laugh, the world laugh with you. When you cry along. When you hot, everybody kicking it with you. You know why? You're a commodity. You're something they eat off of. They make money off of. But when you sit down, man, and you in that room by yourself, and I can imagine as an artist, you know, the thoughts. The majority of the people around me, because I'm the breadwinner. It's like that computer over there. If it get a virus, it stop. You the computer. You get a virus, all this shit stop, man. You feel me? And like my attorney said, that's a heavy burden to bear. But no matter how heavy the burden is, man, you know, like you got to have somebody you can confide in. It's okay to raise your hand and say, hey, I need a little help, man. You know, this load getting too heavy for me. When I lost my son, I went to the cemetery to make arrangements. I asked his mama, what are we doing here? And she said, Corey, we're not supposed to be here. When I walked out, I had to call my team and say, hey, man, you know, I've buried a lot of my family. I know the process. But this too much, man. Y'all got to take over. I was emotionally, I couldn't do it, bro. And that's the problem with us as men. We don't ask for help, man. We want to do everything ourselves.
And that's why we make so many mistakes.
There you go. That's right. Now that's like, as Quan would say, that's a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, you don't ask for help, but you'll rather keep messing up instead of saying, hey, Willie, it's like you got a podcast. If I was entertaining the thought of a podcast, why wouldn't I call you and say, hey, man, how did you start? Give me some game. Instead of me going out here losing money, trying to do this, trying to do that. You know, it's okay to ask people, man. It's okay, but guess what? That's something we don't do amongst each other, man. You know why? Because I want to be Superman. I did it myself. I used to tell my baby brothers, I say, hey, man, it's like you rebel against me because of what I got going on. And he would say something like, well, you know, you got yours, I got to get mine. And I used to tell him, but if I went 300 miles to get to the destination, but I can give you some direction that can get you there in 50 miles, Why not take the shorter route, son? Because I went there first and I know my mistakes and my errors. And now he gets it. You follow me? But a lot of time it just come from, man, you have to be teachable, man. You got to want to learn. And I remember my pastor said something one day. He said, if everybody in your circle look up to you, you in the wrong circle, man. You got to have a circle where you look up to somebody. Think about everybody in your circle looking up to Willie. Well, who Willie look up to? You got to have somebody you look up to for motivation and stuff too, man.
Right.
Somebody that inspire you. And that's what we don't do as a community, man. We'll rather bump our head 20 times instead of going to get some help. Like when I got into the house game, I went to a few of my partners, man, let's put some money together. Let's do this together. I know other people do this shit in hidden grand slams. But no, everybody want to do it individually. It take us that much longer to get there, man. When we can take less money, meaning less risk, and do it together. Might be less profit, but that's okay. Because if we put a small amount in and it's 4 or 5 of us, as opposed to one of us trying to do a big project by himself, think about it. They go back to that crab in the bucket, man. Every time one of us get out there and pull them down, man. That's just the way that, and that's our culture, man.
You know, going. Well, it's part of our culture. It's not all of it. It's not all. You know.
I didn't say all.
Yeah, because yeah, I get you though. I mean, I get what you said. I'm picking up what you're putting down. You know, I be taking these words literally, man, a lot of times. You know, but you know, going back to what you were saying about the not asking questions, man, not asking questions. I know I made a lot of mistakes not asking questions.
Right. Me as well.
Yeah. The thing about that's why I say women make less mistakes, I do believe, because one thing about a woman, she gonna get on that phone before she do anything. She gonna call around. She gonna call her friends, girls and male, about females and males. She gonna call and get as much advice as she can get. Now, she at the end of the day, she might still go totally opposite in the opposite direction.
But she got the advice.
But she gonna at least get the advice so she can weigh her options.
There you go.
Us, men, one thing that I was in the store about this couple years ago, walking down the aisle, and these youngsters who work in the store, a couple of young black guys, they couldn't have been more than, 19, 20, 21 or somewhere up in there. And if one of them said, hey, excuse me, what kind of cologne is that you're wearing? And I was taken aback because I was like, oh man, we getting somewhere, because that's something I would have never asked another man that I did, especially a man that I didn't know.
No, right on.
I would have never asked that question, at that age. But that youngster asked, I said, he gonna be all right.
Right, that's right.
He gonna be all right because he was not afraid to ask, and he received. I gave him the answer. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is because I don't need y'all. I don't need to be walking around the room while y'all try to smelling like I'm smelling because I be smelling good and stuff,
Okay.
But yeah, but anyway, yeah. To your point, man, it is you're right on time with that statement.
Yeah, because see, I was raised the dumbest question is the one you don't ask. You don't ask. You gotta ask, man. And like I said, in our society, like they got it set up now where these young kids want to be rappers, entertainers, and ball players. I taught the kids at Kip Collegiate School down in Fulton County. And I informed them kids, like when I rehab a house, man, I got an electrician told me he made $250,000 on the side, leaving his job, coming to do work for me. So he made $250,000 being a master electrician. So it's a lot of more things to do, man. And then this, you former entertainer, that window is real narrow, man. And every kid you see now, bro, that's all they want. I want to rap. I want to rap. Man, it's so much more to life. And then like this industry, man, I don't know, to be honest, And I said this before I lost my son. I don't know if this shit a gift or a curse, man. To be honest. When you sit back and you look at it, the way these deals set up, how they structured, who really win? Who really win? In the end. Yeah, we get the upfront money, but what about the publishing money, man? What about that long bread? What about that generational wealth? Then they go sprinkle a few companies out here that say we'll buy your publishing for some money. But when you look at it long term, man, like, is it a gift or a curse to be in this industry? This industry, man, have drove more people crazy, have made more people commit suicide, have turned people into huge drug addicts and stuff because of the pressures and the stress that go with it. It's not for the weak. If you weak-minded, man, this entertainment game will eat you up and spit you back out, man, and go on to the next one. I remember years ago, I was in a barbershop one day and Barry Sanders retired. It came up on the TV. Everybody was like, man, Barry Sanders retired. You know, he's still throwing that rock. You running that ball. Old man said something I'll never forget, and it impacted my life. He said, make no difference if Barry retire or not. They still gonna kick off at 1 o'clock every Sunday. And that's just the reality of life.
Mm-hmm.
You can be hot right now. You can walk away from the game. It's so many more to step right in, man. Think about it. And now our culture is like, we want something we think easy. You know, where there's no sacrifice, there's no reward. One of my buddies told me a while back, he said, this new generation, they want everything microwave ready. They don't want to put no work in. They don't understand the concept the day you plant the seed ain't the day the flower grow. They don't understand that. They want everything right now, and if you don't give it to them, they literally out here willing to die for it because they're supposedly take it. But they come from them broken homes, man. Kid going home, ain't nobody at home, man. You follow me? So they think the streets love them. And you know just as well as I know, ain't no love in these streets, man. So if I had to say anything, man, you know, like, stay positive. Be careful who you choose to be around. And it's okay to say no, man. It's a lot of peer pressure going on. When I go in them schools and talk to them kids, they dealing with a lot of peer pressure. They seeing their partners do stuff. And, you know, like, these kids ain't even about their life. And next thing you know, man, they caught up in something and they serving life. Or they got a 10 or they got a 20. It's so rough in Atlanta, man, where, man, the judicial system, man, starting out with dubs, 20s. You go to trial, you might get a 30. It's just the way of the world, man, you know, and like, that's why, like, I try to use platforms like this, man, and let these young generations know, man, hey, man, listen, man, it's okay to get your education, man. It's okay to get you a job. It's okay to get you a trade. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't rap, man. Everybody can't throw a football. Everybody can't score a touchdown. Everybody can't slam dunk. You gotta find your niche. You gotta focus and stay there, man.
Man, to be straight up, bro, if I would have known that hip hop was going to turn into what it is, well, let me just put it like this. If I had came up in this era, if I was coming up in this era right here, I would not choose hip hop. And the reason being is that it's a hazardous job.
Right on.
That's number one. It's hazardous, but too many people can do it. Too many people do it now. I'm not saying well, but they do it.
That's right.
When I was coming up, you know, hip hop was something you had to be bad boy to be.
It was exclusive.
To get up in there and be bad and be heard and make a difference.
Yeah.
You had to be a bad boy.
That's right.
You know, or a bad girl.
Right.
You know, now it's like, man, like, this is why everybody think that they can do it. The door's wide open. Anybody, like, literally everybody and their mama and daddy and their grandma, because of hip hop. You know, we got elderly people who are who used to rap. So now we got elderly people rapping So everybody, their mama, daddy, and grandmama and granddaddy is rapping now.
Rapping them. That's right.
You can go into a household now and see 3 generations of rap.
Rappers. And that's unheard of. Man.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say it would be a knock if it was, if it hadn't sunk to the level that it's sunk into, because ain't nobody complaining about 3 generations of singers.
Right.
So it's all entertainment or whatever, but it's just the level of the competitiveness it's gone down.
It's gone.
And I liked hip hop. What drew me to hip hop was the competitive nature.
It's watered down now.
And I liked it because, it seemed like something that everybody couldn't do.
It was rare. Like it was exclusive. Like back when you were doing, like, bro, like me as a fan, how they do that?
Right.
How they think of this stuff and make it rhyme? Like, I stand in the mirror and tried. I couldn't get nothing.
Right.
So like it was like, but this God-given talent. Now I ride down the street, I listen to music, Willie. I be like, how this make the radio?
Right.
And then a lot of times I be like, okay, the beat sound good, but the lyrics ain't talking about nothing. It's no relevance. Like when I was coming up, it was relevance in the music, man. Whether it was R&B or rap, the music had a message in it. Like I listen to R&B now, man, that's 40, 50 years old, but it still got a message in it. You follow me?
Yeah.
So like it's just watered down now, man. It's watered down.
Yeah. Man, what kind of kid was Quan growing up?
Shy.
Yeah.
Real shy, man. Real shy kid, man. Real shy. Played baseball. Real shy, quiet, out the way. Quan was very artistic. He could draw real good, man. Had a beautiful penmanship too, man. Man, like penmanship was beautiful. Like could draw. I thought maybe it was gonna be a artist. Like could draw, man. Like beautiful, man.
Do we have any drawings?
He probably got some stuff that he did in school, but nothing when he was old.
You thinking about doing anything with it?
I don't even know. I would have to ask his mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, like penmanship, I mean, could draw, man. I ain't talking about tracing it. I'm talking about could draw. Just, man, he was a good kid. He ain't get no problems. He ain't hang with the wrong crowd. He wasn't bad, man. Had a few bumps in the road when he became a teenager, but overall, man, wasn't never disrespectful, wasn't never, rambunctious. Just a good kid, man, because he had love on both sides, man. Quan was loved, man.
Any like really memorable stories like about Quan that you can share that you haven't shared before?
Man, probably, man, when I messed around and bought him and his brother that goat car, man, and Quan got slung off that goat car and messed my baby arm up, hurt my heart, man. But they wanted a goat car. As a dad, you want to buy him a goat car, man, and remember he got slung off for it and messed his arm. I still hear him hollering and screaming right now, man. When I then got my baby and rushed him to the hospital and they patched him up, and that little scar still was on his arm, man. Must have been probably about 8 or 9 when that happened, man.
Man, I can literally feel the love you have for your son. I feel it, bro.
No doubt.
I feel it.
No doubt.
It's genuine. And it is also rare to hear a father speak so candidly about his love for his child. A lot of times people talk about love. I love my kids. And it's just words, and I say that because I think people love what they know love to be. But if I could put a definition in there, I can absolutely put, your name in there, because I feel it. I feel the love.
Yeah, like I said, I just tried to be a better dad than I had, bro. That was like my number one goal, man. Like I said, I don't care what happened with me and the mamas. I'm gonna be there for my kids. You know, when Quan mother and me went our separate ways and she dated somebody else, I was the type of guy, hey man, I'm gonna come up and shake your hand. Hey man, I'm Quan's dad. You follow me? I'm gonna be here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here. I'm committed to this journey, man.
Mm-hmm.
Till my dying days. And that's why it's so important and imperative to me now to continue his legacy, man. Because I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing just as if he were here, man. You follow me? Because our relationship was so strong, he knew that I would do nothing to hurt him or his legacy. And that's my responsibility now, man, to keep his legacy going and to, bring awareness to things in our community that I feel contributed to my son's passing, man.
Yeah, Quan, if you look up Quan,
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of conflicting dates, years that show that he was born either in 89 or 90.
89.
But the birth date is consistent, October 5th. October 4th, yeah.
1989.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
October 4th. So he was born in 1989.
Mm-hmm. 89.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's the year that we put out our first album together. Me, Brad, and Bushwick and Reddy Red.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ghetto Boys.
In 89.
89. That was the year.
I was 20 years old when I had him. I was born in 69. Had him in 89. One birthday October the 4th. Mine October the 25th.
Right.
3 weeks apart.
Yeah. Are there any special celebrations planned?
As a matter of fact, we're playing in October the 4th this year. We're planning a big celebration in memory and honor of Quan. Before Quan passed, we were talking about setting up some scholarships at his old alma mater. So in memory of him, we're going to do some scholarships up there. In memory of him, it's going to be the start, and hopefully it'll continue to go on year after year. We're going to do a big celebration, man. If everything going around, the marching band at his school, let him perform some of his songs. Going to be free to the public. Just have a good time in memory of Quan, man. We're going to do it on October the 4th because that falls on a Saturday this year. So it's perfect time.
Do you have any other artists involved?
The team reaching out to other artists. Now, I don't want them to perform. Just come out and, mingle with the crowd, say a few words, and, just interact. That's all. But I don't really want no performances, anything of that nature.
Right. Did Quan ever speak at schools?
Yes. Yeah, we spoke at Langston, spoke at McNair. He spoke, yeah. I used to set stuff up like that for him, man.
Mm.
If people called and he wasn't against it, you know what I'm saying? Was always willing to talk to the kids, man, and make sure you stay in school, make sure you listen to your mom and dad. And was very much on that. Make sure you get your grades and stuff. Yeah, he would go around and talk to kids, man.
Yeah.
And upon his death, had just started coaching his son Roy's football team. That was his first year. He completed a whole year coaching the team and was dedicated to it too, man. If he had shows on Saturday, we had to alter the schedule so he could go coach the game and then go to the shows. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To be clear, you don't suspect any foul play in Quan's death?
Not knowingly. So my son's official death is a overdose, okay? But I learned, through educating myself that you can take 3 drugs. They can be over the counter. If they kill you, it'll be considered an overdose because it's more than one drug, okay? Do I think someone knowingly gave him that pill? No, I don't. But that's my gut feeling. Does it matter? No. But I just don't think nobody in their right mind who was around him or somebody he knew would give him something to harm him. There's a lot of fake pills going around.
Was anybody ever held responsible? Because I know that,
no.
yeah, because a lot of times, especially when celebrities are killed by drugs, they're now going after the drug dealer.
Yeah, the supplier.
The person who supplied the drugs.
So at this time, the investigation is not closed. I'm in communication. Hey, y'all ain't letting this just fall over on your desk, are you? And no, like I'm like if there's a person that was knowingly selling fake pills, then by all means you need to be held accountable. I mean, from what I read, and I ain't no scientist or pharmacist, man, but the numbers do show that the contents in that pill were higher than normal, man. Very high, okay? So somebody could be putting together a batch of pills. You could have 100 of them. 99 could be okay. That one could not be okay.
Did you speak at Quan's funeral?
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I spoke at my son's funeral. Mm-hmm.
How difficult was that?
It kind of eased up when the people went in front of me. I was like, my kids went in front of me, the attorney, Steven Jackson from the NBA. So a lot of close family and friends went in front of me, and it kind of made it a little more easier. And that's a great question. And I'll answer you like this. I went in the tag office about a month ago to pick up a tag. And the lady behind the counter said, "You're strong." I said, "You know me?" She said, "Yeah, you're Quan's dad." She said, "I watched you at the funeral." She said, "I couldn't have never did that." She said, "I just want to tell you, you're strong." And I looked at her and I said, "I'm not strong. There are times, man, I'm so weak, I don't even have the strength to get up out of bed or get up out the chair. So when you see me speaking like I spoke at my son's funeral, that was God's grace, man. It wasn't me. God was my strength at that time, man. Like I say now, this is one of the darkest moments of my life, man. Every day is a challenge for me. My biggest fear before I started seeing a therapist was grieving myself to death, man. I've heard it, never paid much attention to it. But since I lost Quan, bro, I have some dog days. I have some heavy clouds over my head. And I tell people all the time, don't feel sorry for me. Like in doing this interview when I shed a tear, pray for me. Because this seat I'm sitting in, I don't wish it on nobody, man. This is the toughest chapter of my life, man. But I'll give out before I give up. See, the way I was raised, failure is not an option. My granddad used to say, "Okay, you told me what the problem is, now tell me the solution." So we don't focus on problems. We focus on solutions. And here I am a year in. Has it got better? Not to me. But I know that by God's grace and mercy, I'm still here. And I know I got a purpose. And if my son's transitioning is a part of my journey, I have to accept that. And I have to look at my life and how God has been good to me. And I have to try to educate others, man. So no parent, no brother, no sister, no mother sits where I'm sitting at. Because I don't wish this on my worst enemy, man. And before I leave, I'm going to say something that I read that Tyler Perry said. Tyler Perry had somebody who passed in his family. And Willie, he said he called his assistant and told his assistant to book him up as far as she could book him. He said he traveled here, he traveled there, he spoke here, he spoke there. But guess what he said? Every time I sat down, grief was right there waiting on me. It has no expiration date. You can be smiling and laughing and think you're doing okay. It'll come tap you on the shoulder. It'll ball you up in a knot, man. And you sometimes just want to know why me. But then God say, why not you? And I realized that God give his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I'm in understanding that heavy is the head that wears the crown. I get it, man. And we know that this here is just temporary. We as humans get comfortable here on earth. But I've been taught by my pastor years ago, this ain't your final resting place, man. You're just passing through here. And the calmness and the smile that I saw on my son's face, it gave me assurance that he's up there in heaven, man. And I know that if I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see him again. And I can't wait for him to say, Dad, you made it. Yeah, that's just how I live, man. Like, I don't do anything extravagant, man. I just try to live a calm, peaceful out the way life, man, and try to keep my son's legacy going and try not to fall into a deep depression because it's easy, man. When you love someone the way I love that kid, man. When you been there from the birth room to the graveyard. Never been out of his life with it. No. 34 years, man. Been with him every step of the way, man.
Said, I give out before I give up.
That's
Boy,
right.
I'm running with that one, bro. I love that. I love that. Man, and I love you for doing what you're doing, man. I know that it is a sacrifice. It's also therapy for you. But it is a sacrifice to come on these shows, man, and share this information and to be judged, you know.
Right.
That's a huge sacrifice. And I'm indebted to you for that, man, because that's what it's all about. Each one, reach one, teach one. And you game on. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Lamar.
Thank you.
No
bro.
more talk.
Appreciate
My man.
you. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
For sure.
All right.